Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Football Appreciation YouTube channel. Now, obviously, Bruno Lage looks like it's pretty much a done deal, and I think most people are kind of looking forward towards obviously the Euros, but also the transfer window. And I thought, you know what, I'll kind of do my own little transfer window. So I've picked some players I'm going to sell, and I've picked 5 players that I think this isn't including Nuri and Vitinha, by the way, because I think they're already done anyway. But I've picked 5 players, and I've tried to keep it realistic, so it'd just be boring if I picked loads of players that we're never going to sign. So I picked 5 players, which I think would be pretty realistic, affordable, and would improve the side. Um, so yeah, this is obviously what we've got now. So I kind of tried to draw it out and see what we need. Now I think we need a right-sided centre back who can start, 2 midfielders. I mean, I'll show you who I'm selling, but I'm going to get rid of Rafa because I wanted to raise funds, right? So I think we could get about 10 mil for Vinagre, maybe the same for Rafa Mir. Jose's wages, I'd just get rid of him. Catroni could reckon get 5-4, and you wouldn't really get much money for Matinho, but 100k a week is more than enough. And then I'd loan out Ryan Giles and Dion Sanderson. Although I'd sell Ryan Giles if a good bid came in, because I think he's 23 now, Ryan Giles. He's not as young as people think he is. But that's what I'm looking for. Oh, and two kind of wingers slash second strikers. And this could be like this, by the way. I don't really know what Bruno Lage is going to play. It could be more of a 4-3-3. But I want 2 players that can play out wide. I don't think we need another striker. I'm happy with Jimenez and Fabio. But I want 2 players that can kind of play out wide, slash as a second striker. And this also kind of accounts that if Adama leaves as well, which I don't think it will. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first one is just a complete gamble, because obviously I haven't given myself that much money. But I've gone for Florentino Luis. I'm not even going to sit like I ever watched this guy before yesterday. I watched Portugal's under-23s, and God, who are they playing? Was it Spain? Yeah. He was really good with Vitinha in that midfield too. Now, I don't think Vitinha's good enough to play in a midfield too in the Prem, but Florentino Luis, he's 6 foot tall. Look, this guy could be terrible, but I'm buying him purely to be my backup central midfielder. I reckon we could get him on loan easily. He's hardly played for Monaco. Benfica want to get rid of him. We could even buy him for a couple of mil, but get him on loan with an option to buy. Good squad player. So that's my first midfielder. Now let's get into the actual expensive ones. So I've gone for my centre back. I haven't seen any Wolves fans really mention him, but I've gone for Ozan Kabak. Now, I did a video on Kanate, and by the way, subscribe to the channel. The more Euros videos, Wolves videos, Premier League, etc. But I spoke about Ozan Kabak. Now, he's 20 years old. Oh, sorry, 21 years old, age, 6'1". That fits the bill. He's right-footed. And the thing I like about Kabak, at Schalke, he's played in a 5 at the back defensive side who got relegated. But he's also gone into a Liverpool team that play on the front foot and play a high line in a back 4 and done well. So I look at Kabak, and they haven't signed him on an option to buy. They had an option to buy Liverpool for 18 million euros, which is about 15 million quid. They didn't take it. So 15 million quid for a guy who's Premier League proven and 21. And I think he's going to... Turkey are my dark horses for the Euros. So I think he's going to have a really good Euro. So I'd want him signed now. I reckon we could get him for about 15 mil. The thing I like about Kabak, his defensive numbers are all really high. And this is considering he's played... Some of that's in the Bundesliga, obviously, but some of it's in the Champions League and the Prem as well. The fact that its defensive numbers are so high, even though he's been playing for Liverpool, like you'd expect these numbers to be quite low, right? Because he's playing in a possession team. Yet they're so high, which to me suggests he's the aggressor, if that makes sense, in the back 2. Normally the defender has low defensive stats and is a sitter, i.e. Nat Phillips, and then or Joel Matip, and then there's the aggressor. I want someone like that. He's quick, he's young, he's 21, he's tall, he's a really good dribbler, which I think is an underrated thing for a centre-back. If you look at that Wolves side, Bolly, Kilman, Sace, Cody, they're all so slow and sluggish. I think if you put Kabak next to Bolly or Cody, he's good on the ball. He's a decent passer. He's a good dribbler, and all his defensive numbers are pretty high. He's good in the air as well. To have 3.5 aerial duels when you're 21, that's really good. Most young centre-backs have really low aerial win rates. So I like everything about Kabak. He's available because Schalke got relegated. He's cheap. Great signing for me. So that solves centre-back, and that solves backup centre-mid. Now, my main centre-mid, I've seen a lot of Wolves fans talk about him, but I'd go for Anguissa from Fulham. Personally, obviously Fulham got relegated. I've tried to keep this realistic. Now, obviously he doesn't score and he's not really a creator, right? But I don't think you need that in a 2-man midfield. He's 25, he's 6 foot. I've tried to get players that are a bit tall as well, because we do lack height. But when you look at those central midfield options, Neves, Dendoncker and Moutinho, I don't think we have any dribblers in there. I mean, I'd sell Moutinho anyway, but there's no one in there that can dribble and beat a man. And that's what Anguissa's a mate is in at. You know, he's in the top 1% for dribbles completed for centre mids in the top 5 leagues. And obviously he got relegated. I reckon Fulham would take 15, 20 mil for him. His tackle interception numbers are really high. He's a decent presser. He's okay in the air. He's okay on the ball, considering he's playing in a Fulham side where he doesn't get time on the ball. You know, if he was playing in a more possession side, these stats would just be higher, right? You know, these stats aren't adjusted for possession. But the dribbling's what I like. I want someone in central midfield that can sit next to Neves, take the ball off him and beat a man and spread it out wide. That's what Anguissa's good at. He's available. Fulham would sell him. He's got all the numbers you need. I think if we bought him for 20 mil, loaned in Florentino, that's 2 midfielders for the price of 1 with Moutinho. And he's Premier League proven. Plus, we were linked with him a few years back. I remember in the first season we got promoted, so who knows, maybe it could happen. But I think Anguissa would be a great central midfield option. So that solves the midfield and the centre back. Now I've gone for 2 kind of attackers that can kind of overplay up front or out wide. The first one, actually another Fulham player, although technically he's at Leipzig, right? But I've gone for Ademola Lookman. Now I'm kind of doing this more off the eye test because every time I watch him I think he's incredible. But I know 4 goals, 4 assists doesn't sound that impressive. But when you put that into context, Fulham have won 5. Fulham were probably one of the worst sides in the Prem last season. They won 5 games, which for context, Sheffield United won 7. So the fact he got 4 goals, 4 assists, and he underperformed his XG and his expected assists, by the way. You know, Pedro Neto got 5 goals, 6 assists. So he's only got 3 less goal contributions, and he's playing for Fulham. He's 24. He's about to turn 24 anyway. He's a good age. He's English. Leipzig want to sell him, apparently. He's had 1 good season in the Prem. I think he's a player. He's played out wide. He's played off a striker. His numbers aren't perfect. You know, again, he's a good dribbler. He's a decent carrier. Obviously, his passing is quite low, but again, he's playing in a Fulham side that are counter-attacking a lot, so that's going to be the case. Decent presser. I like Lookman every time I watch him. He's English. We need some English players. He's available. You know, I've tried to pick players here that are all available, and his numbers are okay when you compare him to wingers or forwards. And I think he probably costs about 15 mil, and I think that's the kind of gamble we should be taking. And then I've kind of splashed a bit of money on the next one, and this is kind of like if Adama left, who I'd replace him with. But I've gone with Trincao. Now, I don't know if this would even be possible, to be honest. This is kind of my most unrealistic one. Because Barcelona did pay like 20 mil for him like a year ago. But Barcelona have just signed Aguero on big wages. They're about to sign Depay on big wages. They've got Griezmann. They've got Messi. They've got Ousmane Dembele. They've got Ansu Fati. They've got like 8 attackers. And that's not even including Trincao. Barcelona would happily loan him out or sell him for me. And in 700 minutes to get 5 goal contributions is really good. Again, elite dribbler. And obviously this should be acknowledged, right? He's playing in a very possession-based Barca team, so these numbers are a bit boosted. But he's really good on the ball, gets involved in play. His progressive passes are low, which is a bit of a concern, but he's young. Plus, when you're playing in a side that's so ball-dominant, your progressive passes will be lower because you're playing against a deep block. That's why his carries are so high, right? Of course, he does nothing defensively or in the air. But Trincao has everything that Adama kind of has, but he's younger. And of course he's Portuguese as well. And we've done business with Barcelona before. I just think Trincao would be a really good marquee kind of signing. He's the right age, he's available, and I think Barcelona would be willing to sell him, personally. And then let's just say we did make those 5 signings. So Florentino Luis on loan, Kabak, probably 15, 16 mil, Anguissa probably like 20 mil. So probably the same for Lookman. And then maybe 25, 30 for Trincao. If you look at that Wolves side then, defence looks solid for me. One of Bolly, Kilman and Sace with Kabak. I think that's got a good combination of pace, experience, right foot, left foot. By the way, I haven't really touched on Rui Patricio. I don't think we'll sell him, but if we do, I don't think it'd be that hard to replace. The fullbacks are fine. I'd buy Nuri. Obviously it's a worry with Marcel's injury record, but apparently Johnny's back in December, according to Nathan Judah from the Express and Star. So I think we can last 2-3 months with Nuri and Marcel. Then all of a sudden we've gone from, obviously I've sold Moutinho. So Anguissa, Dendoncker, Neves, Florentino and Onot Sawi. I think that's a good midfield 5 or 5 midfield options. Plus Vitinha could play there if you really need. Let Morgan Gibbs White and Vitinha kind of be the attacking mids. you've got Adama, Lookman, Podence, Neto and Trincao who can play either out wide or as the second striker. Then you've got Jimenez and Fabio up front. I think that'd be a really good summer that wouldn't be ridiculously expensive. Obviously, you could buy a big name centre back or big name central midfielder if you need to. Maybe a left back, maybe a striker, but we've got to keep it realistic. Florentino's a risk, but it's one worth taking. Kabak's cheap, Anguissa's available, Lookman's available. Trincao might be a bit ambitious, but I think those are 5 signings that would get us pushing for Europe and give Bruno Lage. Like, I was reading this piece by Joe Edwards, and he was saying, look, whether you like Bruno Lage or not, we've got to give him the resources to do what he can. And I think if we made those 5 signings and gave him this squad, he couldn't moan if he failed. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know who you want us to sign if you agree with who I've said. I'm excited for the transfer window. I hope we don't wait until after the Euros, but who knows. But yeah, I'm fully on the Kabak, Anguissa, Lookman, Luis and Trincao train. But subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support on the videos recently. And let me know who you'd sign, man. I think this summer's going to be fun. And it needs to be. This summer's massive. This is the most important summer since probably the championship, really. So yeah, subscribe. Let me know who you'd sign. Peace.